Hey everybody, this is Matt. In today's video, I have for you a ban list reaction, folks. That's right, we have a Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG ban list, probably the best ban list of all three of the recent formats. Better than the OCG ban list, better than the Master Duel ban list. Yeah, it's actually pretty cracked. Now, for those of you who watched my ban list prediction video, I actually got some of this right. Okay, so let's get into the ban list. And I know before anyone said anything, I know I'm like 5 days late. But here's the thing, folks. When the ban list dropped, I was out of town and completely unable to react or record videos or anything. In fact, actually, I did post a text reaction on my channel about the ban list. But yeah, so this is the video reaction where I go in depth on it, since everyone is talking about it. And what better way to farm clicks like every other YouTuber than to talk about the new ban list? So, ironically enough, I actually, so because I was out of town and I've been busy, at the beginning of April leading up to this, I didn't actually have time to do an April Fool's ban list. Sorry, an April Fool's video. The last 2 years I did an April Fool's video. If I had done an April Fool's video, I actually would have made an April Fool's video about a ban list that hadn't dropped for the TCG that would have included some of these cards. Hilariously enough, like that wasn't actually one idea I was contemplating. If I had time to make a video for April Fool's, I was thinking, it'd be hilarious if I make an April Fool's ban list reaction to a TCG ban list that is fake, right? Like I would come up with a fake TCG ban list. I would react to it in like an insane way, right? And the hilarious part is like, these cards were literally on the ban list. So, Linkuriboh, Barone, Borlo Savage, would have been on my April Fool's fake ban list reaction video, and yet here they are in the actual ban list, right? So, yeah. So, like I've talked about in my reactions video, my prediction video, Linkuriboh is dying for the sins of Snake Eyes. I get that Linkuriboh has a lot of utility, right? You have the ability to recycle stuff in the graveyard. You can use it to easily make Little Knight. You can use it to dodge Imperm Veiler. You can use it to prevent your Appaloosa from being attacked over. I get it, but this is just like so fucking cowardly, right? It's like, can you please just ban a Snake Eyes card? Oak, Original Sinful Spoils, right? Like, you can still, the deck can still survive if it didn't have one of these other more important pieces, right? Like, the fact that Original Sinful Spoils was not banned, but Linkuriboh is mind-blowing to me. And I know all the YouTubers have been talking about in the prediction videos that Linkuriboh should be banned. But as I mentioned in some of my other text posts and prediction videos, I swear that's a Konami psyop. Like, Konami leaked to the YouTubers that they're planning to ban Linkuriboh, and then they actually did, right? And then YouTubers had to bend over backwards to justify this ban. It's like, this card is not toxic. It's not unfair. Nothing about this card design is bad for the game or unhealthy for the Yu-Gi-Oh game. Like, if you want to actually look at problem cards, you have to look at the actual Snake Eyes cards and Sinful Spoils cards. And I told you how the original Sinful Spoil is just too insanely cracked of a card. But of course, they're not going to ban it because they don't have the guts and because they're still trying to make money. And now I suggested Oak. Now Oak is not as expensive a card, right? You can just ban Oak, right? I think Snake Eyes would definitely feel that hit, right? Maybe limit Kieran, right? But alas, Konami decided, no, we're going to leave the main deck Snake Eyes cards completely untouched and just hit Linkuriboh. So we have Linkuriboh banned. It's the most devastating, unfortunate ban. It's like, if you look at it, if one were to wake up from a coma, right? Like, let's say you were in a coma, you were a Yu-Gi-Oh player, you fell asleep, you went into a coma a year or 2 years ago, right? You wake up today and you see this ban list. You're like, why the fuck is Linkuriboh on this ban list, right? You would have no idea, right? You would go through the ban list, just look at all the cards on the ban list. It's like, one of these cards is not like the other, and it's definitely Linkuriboh. Why is this? Anyway, I still can't get over how insanely stupid of a ban this is. But alas, Konami values making money over actual good game design and fun factor, right? Whatever. It's not going to really affect that much. Snake Eyes is still probably going to be the best deck. So yeah, let's talk about the other bans. So Summon Limit was banned. I actually predicted that they would limit Summon Limit because funny, haha, summon limit, get it? And that they would actually ban anti-spell fragrance. They actually did the opposite. They banned summon limit and limited anti-spell fragrance. Why? I have no idea. But I mean, all the other floodgates went to 1. For some reason, this went to 0. Beats the hell out of me why that's the case. Anyway, but Barone and Borreload Savage Dragon are finally gone. Now, I did say that, I guess in my prediction video, I said that Barone was a problem card, and that the 2 main end board omni-negates, or I guess generic boss monster negates, Barone and Appaloosa, could have been on the chopping block. Barone is much more problematic than Appaloosa. You notice that Appaloosa is not on this ban list. Gee, I wonder if it has anything to do with the fact that Appaloosa is going to get a quarter century rare in the next rarity collection set. I don't know. Maybe that's just a total coincidence. But yeah, they hit Barone and Borreload Savage Dragon, which are annoying, stupid, problematic, generic extra deck monsters that just set up the gates that any combo that can go into. Kind of makes Yu-Gi-Oh! Stale, defeats the purpose of having archetypes. Is yeah, I mean, don't you want every deck that comes out to simply be an engine deck for just setting up Barone and Savage Dragon? Isn't that just you see what I'm saying? It's how is that interesting or fun Yu-Gi-Oh! Or card design or game design? It's not. So I'm glad these 2 cards are finally banned. Here's the deal, folks. People talk about, oh, well, you can just go into Relinquish Anima, because you don't have Link Rebo. Oh, but a Relinquish Anima is, is a one-time card and you can't recycle it. But it doesn't matter because guess what? Snake Eyes decks previously had now have 4 extra deck slots that are now available, right? Because Snake Eyes decks used to run Barone, Borreload, Formula Synchron, now Link Rebo. So they have 4 extra deck slots that are now available. If they really want to, they can take all 4 of these cards out, put in 3 Relinquish Anima, and then 1 more, whatever the fuck they want, right? So again, Snake Eyes is going to be fine. This is not going to do that much. But I will say that I guess a Snake Eyes board that only negates and options are like Appaloosa is much easier to deal with than if they also have a Barone. So I guess Snake Eyes will be weaker, I suppose, more susceptible to evenly matched, more susceptible to Nibiru, right? They'll make most combo decks susceptible to Nibiru. And for people crying about rogue decks, be like, oh, my rogue deck that used to go into Barone is now completely unplayable. That's Konami's fault for not making good archetype cards for those rogue decks. It's not Konami's fault. Barone was a band-aid solution. It's I really despise when people say, oh, this rogue deck is playable because it can go into Barone. That's not good for the game, right? It's oh, I'm going to play my rogue Blue Eyes White Dragon deck, right? It's cool. What's the end board? Barone de Fleur, Appaloosa. It's is that even a Blue Eyes deck anymore? You know what I'm saying? Where are all the Blue Eyes? Oh, they're in the graveyard. Cool. Or they're in the deck. You see what I'm saying? It's just silly. It's I'd rather have in-archetype boss monsters that are actually interesting and unique, right? I think Mirror Jade is a cool card, right? It's the main branded boss monster. It makes a lot of sense. Not every deck can just splash it, right? It's a cool card. It's a mostly well-designed card, I would say. But there's an example of an archetype done right with the case branded, right? Snake Eyes, I think, is a pretty cool. They have Flamberge as their boss monster, although Flamberge is treated as an extender. But the fact that they have a unique removal via the putting monsters in the soul trap zone, and of course summoning those monsters, I think is really cool. So I was always against the idea of banning Flamberge because that is a very unique in archetype card that can theoretically function as a boss monster, right? But of course, people still opt for these generics. So yeah. Goodbye, Link Rebo. Your sacrifice will not be forgotten. You died so that we may also get Borreload and Barone on the ban list. So I'll trade banning Link Rebo for Barone and Borreload, even though Link Rebo absolutely did not deserve it. Barone and Borreload did. Now, in terms of what combo decks are going to do, combo decks are going to do what they always do. They're just going to go to the next generic extra deck boss monster, regardless of what their archetype is. Maybe we see a return of Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Maybe we see, just more Appaloosas and then less Barones. Maybe we see Bishop Dispaders. Who knows? We're definitely going to see just replacements, right? It's combo. It's not this thing about combo players. They don't actually care about the archetype or the the theme or the interesting interactions of their deck and their archetype. All they care about is how do I get to the most generically broken end board I possibly can, regardless of what monster it is or what archetype it is, right? So people, I like to shit on combo decks, but that's literally all they do, right? It's like, why do I like Labyrinth? Because everything within the Labyrinth archetype is kind of just like, we don't need no, the Labyrinth, Lady Labyrinth is a strong and independent woman who ain't need no extra deck generic monsters. Like, yeah, we use Chaos Angel, we use fucking Sky Crisis, but again, those are just like, extenders / extra additional plays. It's not the main core or like way to play the deck, right? It's like a nice utility that we can access, and I don't mind like having utility extra deck monsters like Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Unicorn, whatever. Like that I'm okay with that. But like just the fact but just relying on these generic extra deck monsters that are just better than your in archetype monsters, and like you don't even care about your like and your entire deck is just dedicated to getting these generic monsters out. It's just like, I don't know, not good for the game. So yeah, it's the same reason why I supported banning Verde Anaconda. It's like Dragoon should still be summonable by Dark Magician decks, but not splashable in any decks. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's my take. These are overall positive change. Like, we lost Summon Limit. Oh well. Summon Limit was never all that great of a floodgate, honestly, because like, unlike floodgates like Rivalry and Gozen are good going second. Summon Limit is not good going second. So whatever. I'll take it. Go on to Limitless. So Konami giveth and Konami taketh away. So they took away Barone. They took away Savage Dragon. Anti-Spell Fragrance to 1. That should have been banned, and Summon Limit should have been to 1, but whatever. I'll not understand this, because remember when Imperial Order was at 1, people were calling it for a ban. I mean, obviously, Anti-Spell is not as bad as Imperial Order, but for the sake of like certain combo deck interactions, it might as well be. Anyway, so Arch Nemesis Protoss is back on the menu. This is, I guess, good for Sorcel in the sense of, they don't have Barone anymore that they can go to, so they're just going to go into Arch Nemesis Protoss. We got a Dragon Ruler back. Thunder Dragon Colossus is back. Magic Spectre Kirin is back. Chicken Game. That was probably the most surprising. I mean, to be fair, Upstart Goblins at 3. Honestly, I think Chicken Game can go to 3. Chicken Game will definitely be on my future prediction as wow, we put this at 1 and it changed nothing. So I think they're just going to put it to 3 inevitably. So whatever. It's at 1 for now. I think Chicken Game is a cool card. Here's the thing, folks. We're like, oh, okay, so now they give us back Colossus and Protoss, which are floodgates, right? And with respect to Colossus, it's a splashable engine. Almost any deck can summon this via Nemesis Flag or Nemesis Quarter or whatever it's called, right? The green one, which is like super searchable, very easy to splash. But here's the deal. So Colossus and Arch Nemesis Protoss are legal on Master Duel, and yet you don't actually see them that often. Like, I think I've only seen Arch Nemesis Protoss in Sorcel and the occasional once in a blue moon Vanadium. Colossus, I would see in like maybe a Prank Kids, maybe a Thunder Dragon or Bestial Thunder Dragon or branded Bestial or branded Thunder Dragon, right? But it wasn't that, you would expect it based on that it's been legal, like that I would see it more, but you really don't. So and even when I do, it's like it's not the worst card in the world to deal with. It's like Colossus says you can only add cards to your hand by drawing them. For the perspective of Labyrinth is like we're adding, this doesn't stop Pot of Extravagance. It does stop Ariana search, but it doesn't stop any of the furniture, right? You can pitch furniture sets from deck, right? So you can still search off of Lady Labyrinth, right? Because she sets from the deck, right? So Colossus is not that big a deal, and you can just imperm it, right? Like if you're playing a combo deck, right, you just play imperm and cool, Colossus is not an issue anymore. So way easy, or you could just evenly match them. Colossus cannot stop evenly matched, right? Whereas Barone could. So and Arch Nemesis Protoss is a lingering floodgate, but again, already legal in Master Duel, not that big of a problem. But of course, I'm sure decks will find a way to abuse it, because that's what combo decks do. The purpose of a combo deck is to abuse the most insanely splashable generic extra deck cards imaginable, right? Regardless of what the engine of the deck actually is. Archetype be damned. Magic Spectre Kirin. Is this legal on Master Duel? I have no idea. I don't see Magic Spectre often in Master Duel. I haven't played during this format where Magic Spectre was a thing. So what? This gives you multiple bounces per turn, right? So they're either plays turn. One monster your opponent controls bounce into the hands. I'm cool with that because one, lady can't be targeted, and two, in Labyrinth matchup, most of my cards are back row cards anyway, so I literally don't care about this. So, good job, Pendulums. You got your Kieran back. Don't actually think this is going to matter. Semi-limits. Purely Delicious Memory, Armageddon Knight. I don't actually know if these cards were previously limited or unlimited. If you know, like, write in the comment section. I want to say Armageddon Knight and Delicious Memory were previously limited, and now they're being semi-limited, which makes me think they could probably go to 3. But then again, I didn't really play during the Purely format, where Purely was like, I don't know, best deck or one of the best decks last year because I was on a hiatus. So I don't actually know how problematic it is, but I mean, they limited it and like the deck sort of disappeared, so maybe I don't know, it's problematic enough. But anyway, Armageddon Knight, whatever. Limited, unlimited. All right, so Harp Horror went to 3, Terror Top went to 3, Engage went to 3. So those 3 I predicted going to the unlimited, right? But the biggest surprise here is they actually put Destiny Hero Malicious to 3. So that's very surprising because for those of you who've watched my videos before about ban lists and stuff and predictions, I always said that Malicious should have been the only card ever in Yu-Gi-Oh! To sit in the semi-limited section. But now, because that was like the most, it kind of made sense, right? Why you would have only Malicious and semi-limited? Because again, it's like people think, oh, this is like a free Beatrice, right? You have 3 of them. Yeah, so I guess that's a buff to heroes, obviously a buff to tier limit, right? Because tier limit is going to definitely be abusing this. I would say that like now that Malicious is off the semi-limited list, why does the semi-limited list even exist anymore? Like, let's be honest. Like, it's like Malicious was like his home was the semi-limited. It's like the semi-limited list, in my opinion, existed only for Malicious. And now that it's off, it's like, why do we even have this anymore, right? Why do we even have semi-limit lists? I don't know. I think you should just get rid of it. Like, I know there's still some cards in the semi-limited other than the ones that we just saw. I think Lightning Storm is also in the semi-limited, and so is Runic Fountain. Both of those should just go to 1, honestly, but whatever. Yeah, so very interesting ban list. I will say it definitely does more good than harm. It's definitely an overall positive list, although I don't think that's gonna change Snake Eyes being the top tier 0 most played deck, right? Maybe it'll give some other decks like a fighting chance, but yeah, I guess Yu-Gi-Oh will be more interactive because there's fewer negates. I mean, they can still go Appaloosa, whatever. Again, Appaloosa is not as big of a problem because again, only negates monsters, effects doesn't negate evenly match, and it's once per chain, and it can be beat over, or it can just be stopped by like a Veiler or a Ghost Ogre, right? So I don't think Appaloosa really deserves to be banned, but if they ban Appaloosa in the future after they collect their money from the Rarity Collection too, right? Then yeah, I would not be surprised, let's just say, right? But yeah, I do think it's like pretty hilarious if like a lot of combo decks are just going to go like Appaloosa pass. It's just like, wow, what an amazing deck board you set up, right? So other implications, I can definitely see the Regulus King Therion returning. I can definitely see Adventure Engine returning. I really hope we go into an adventure format. I doubt it's going to happen because Snake Eyes is still pretty strong. But if Adventure makes a huge comeback, guess what else will make a huge comeback? Witcher Strike, baby. Let's go. That would be pretty hilarious if I could start playing Witcher Strike again, if we're back in Adventure, because Adventure is completely unlimited in TCG, whereas it's like limited in OCG and Master Duel. In fact, like Griffin is like straight up banned in the OCG, right? I'm pretty sure. So yeah, so that'd be funny if that happened. I don't mind Adventure formats for that reason. And obviously, you know what also is really good against Adventure Engine? Fucking Daruma Karma Cannon, right? Takes out the token very easily. So yeah, I'm very interested to see how this format shapes up. this definitely encourages me to start going to locals again. I did go back to locals. I stopped for a bit, and then because of, again, like, life started picking up in other regards. So yeah, I definitely see myself wanting to go to locals again just to see what people are going to be cooking now that this ban list is live. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed my reaction. I know it's late, but I don't give a fuck because, free clicks, free clickbait thumbnails, right? And yeah, since I spent so much time on my ban list prediction video, I might as well figure I should at least address, formally, in a video, the ban list. Curious to see if Master Duel or the OCG will follow suit with these bans. Like, if they ban Barone and Warlord Savage and Master Duel and the OCG, that should have huge implications. Don't forget that banning Barone also hurts Cash Tier, also hurts Tier Limit, right? It also hurts Manadium. So very curious to see how those decks are going to fare without them, and also how prevalent Nibiru is going to be. Guess what? Labyrinth doesn't really care about Nibiru in terms of, like, getting hit by it, but maybe Nibiru suddenly becomes a card I want to play again in Labyrinth, right? We'll see. But yeah, things are definitely looking up for Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know enough about the upcoming archetypes, Senpai Dragon and, like, the White Woods or whatever it's called. I don't really care right now, but yeah, I'm glad these cards are finally dead, and that we can have some semblance of, like, I don't know, normalcy. One real quick thing I want to mention. So I did talk about the Min C, right? Like the Max C errata that's coming out soon. That new Aqua monster that is kind of like a baby Max C. So I have, like, a crazy theory / maybe this is tinfoil. So you know how if we read that Min C card, it's like, oh, you can only activate one. I think it's called, like, multi something, multi jelly or whatever. It's like a multi jelly archetype, but the archetype doesn't exist yet. They haven't been announced, but so that card allows you to draw cards every time you normal summon or special summon cards from the hand, right? So it's like a very much nerf version of Max C. I wonder if the multi jelly archetype or the multi whatever archetype that they're going to release with that is going to contain other cards that are hand traps that give you draw effects, but for other summons. So, for example, maybe there's one that's like, every time you special summon from the extra deck, you draw a card. Every time you mill a card to the graveyard, you draw a card. Every time you summon a card from the graveyard, you draw a card. Makes me wonder if they're just going to release like an entire set archetype of these new hand traps that are supposed to be Max C like, but not as obnoxious or like as hated as Max C, that are going to be specifically targeted towards very specific or like annoying card deck archetypes, such as milling, special summoning from hand, special summoning from extra deck, special summoning from graveyard, etc. Just a tinfoil hat. Again, they haven't announced the cards yet, so I'm just proposing, hey, what if this is actually something they're planning on doing in order to make going second a lot more manageable against these, like, right? Because they're banning floodgates, so they don't like, floodgates were kind of supposed to be a check for like these decks that just don't stop summoning or having plays, right? But now they're going to be like, all right, well, we're going to let your opponent play, but now you draw cards every time they make a specific kind of play, right? And then so that you can actually have like a good hand for when you're going second against them, you can like break their board. We'll see. I don't know. That's just a tinfoil theory I had, right? Because people were mentioning that like, oh, we don't know what other of these cards are going to be in the archetype. Well, that's just a guess. That'd be pretty cool if Konami did something like that, right? Just release an entire archetype of hand traps similar to the Ghost Girls, right? But they're like jellyfish or whatever. That all have these different card draw effects depending on what your opponent does and like what kind of patterns your opponent's deck has. So anyway, just a thought, a food for thought. So hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah, see you on the next video. I got something like cool cooking up for the Triangle Festival or whatever it's called, the XYZ one, right? See you on the next video. Peace.